All right, so let me show you just a little bit of a demonstration of the workflow that I developed for developing new pages for my website or redesigning current pages. So I'm starting off here in Notion. Notion is more than just a note-taking device or document software. It really is so much more than that. You can build databases, tables, you can build interactive features, you can actually put code in it, you can run applications from inside it. So what I did first of all is I just went and created some links to all the pages that I currently have on my website that I want to redesign. So I put the home page in here and the 5 voices page and Momentum Manager, 100x strategy. I actually put a little bit more note on the strategy pages since I want to beef those up. And then once I put those in place, I just click on the Notion chat and it will actually pull up AI and I can choose which AI LLM that I want to use. In my case, I chose Sonnet 4.6. This just seems to be a really good AI tool for thinking and for writing. It does a really good job of writing descriptive text, web copy, marketing copy, that sort of thing. So what I've done is I just come in here into the side of the chat, and the nice thing about this when you're using it inside of Notion is that when you start chatting, it looks at context of everything that's on the page right here, which is really good because it doesn't look at the whole world of information that it has. It's really going to zero in on the content that you have for it in the context of what's on this page. So what I've done is I just started with all the web copy that's there, redesigned the home page, and then redesign the other pages. So you can see I just chat here. I throw in some pictures to give it some context. It comes back. It gives me some ideas and some questions. I answer the questions. Once I've answered the questions, then it'll start creating this new document. Now, the nice thing about doing this inside of Notion is that it actually goes and creates a page inside of this page that I'm already building. So I've put this in here to begin with. Notion, with its AI capabilities, has built all of these pages for me based on the chat that's happening here on the right side of the screen. So if I take the right side of the screen, chat with it, then when it's ready and I say create it, it actually goes and creates a page over here. So if you look at the home page and the draft that I created, if I click there, you can see all of the content, but also the instructions that it creates in this file. So it says up here, this is the status of the file. It's going to have a lead magnet on here. Here's developer notes. So if I turn this over to a web developer, here would be all the notes that I would give the web developer so that they would have that information. Or I can also put that into AI and AI will create the web page for me. So hold on just a second, we'll get to that. So the next thing is it shows all the web copy that's in here. So it's going to give you kind of the navigation of what happens in the navigation bar, and then it's actually going to write the content for me based on all the context that I've given it. Now, I've created other documents to say, here's what my company's about. It's looked at all those web pages to find out what my company's about. I also want to add some new ways of thinking and talking on the page. So I put that in the chat as well. So it's taking all that information and it's starting to understand who my target audience is. It's starting to understand how I want to position myself, the services I want to offer, the kind of consulting company that I have. And it's going to start doing all this. So, and it even, when it took the images, it looks at the images and it makes a decision of which one fits best in the context of which section on the website. Crazy, right? It's looking at the picture. And so it chose this picture for the very top one, the Micah and Mike at BSD conference table writing.jpg. It picks that picture and it says the warm interior light and dark wood complement the navy background. It has some intelligence about why it's choosing this picture. It writes the headline, it writes the subhead, it puts in instructions for my call to action. It just kind of plans out how the whole page is supposed to be written. Okay, so once I have that, then I just go up here and I click and say, let's just export this file. And so you can choose what format you want to put it in. I like markdown because markdown it's a file format that AI understands really, really well. And it's very simple. It's straightforward. It's got text in it. So if you were to open the file and look at it, you could kind of read it, what's happening. But it's a really good file format to use for all the AI engines. So I just do that, click export and create a file. Now I've already done that. So once I've done that and exported that file, now I have instructions that I can take over to my no-code platform, and I can give it those markdown instructions, put the pictures in there, and it'll go to work, right? So watch what happens here. So I've got a folder here where I've accumulated my web content. I've put my pictures in here that I can put those in. And then you'll see that I also have these markdown pages. So right here's the About Us markdown page. And if I look for the home page, there's that one. So you can see the home page markdown file. It has an extension at the end called .md. So once I have those, now here's where the magic really happens. I mean, that was magical before. I get that. Like it wrote that very quickly. It took me longer to type in all my context than it did for it to create the file. So to build one of these web pages like this home page here, it took me maybe 45 minutes, maybe an hour. And a lot of that time was just finding the right pictures and cropping them, getting them to the right size to give it to the AI so it could start to design the page. Now, once it's designed the page and got that markdown file, now the next thing to do is I go to a tool here called Replit. And if you are a systems thinker, if you have some IT background, or if you've worked on a software development team, or are somewhat familiar with the process of how to build software, this tool is going to be super easy for you to use. Now, in my opinion, anybody can learn to use it because you're just using a chat. So over on the left, you're chatting with the agents that are behind the scenes running at Replit. And you just chat with it and tell it what you want to make. Now, if you've thought about the architecture, if you've thought about kind of the end goal of what you want to create, you can give it more of those instructions at the beginning, but you don't have to. I mean, you can just tell it the goal of what you're trying to build, and it will use its intelligence to start building it. The only thing I've found is if you're too vague and then you have a really good idea and have to back up and undo something and redo it, it becomes really, really difficult. Okay. It can get confused. It writes code, has to go back and correct the code. You'll get some strange errors and bugs in there, but I mean, that's software development. You have to kind of prepare for that. So this is what I built. I didn't build any of this. I just gave it that markdown file and gave it the pictures, and here's what it built. It has created the buttons in here. It put the picture in here. The picture wasn't quite centered just right. I had to give it some additional instructions that did that. It's already built the navigation bar at the very top. It put in this row of all of our stats. It has designed and laid this out. And it really did a good job, even better than I thought of, like when I put the content in and said, here's my 3 services. It talks about them under one umbrella much better than I've been able to in the past. I sometimes stumble at, well, we do this and we do that and we do that, how to put them all together. This, between using the AI to write the copy and design the page, and then now the page layout done by Replit, I mean, this is pretty incredible. So it even put an emphasis for our AI services on the front page because we want to highlight that more because I know a lot of people struggle with it. And I get that. I get that all the time. Just had a conversation yesterday with someone who's like, AI is coming for my business. And I think there's gonna be a lot of small businesses in general, but especially small businesses in the service sector. They're going to have to figure this out. So put the picture in place. It even chose a picture when we're talking about just kind of our general services. It kind of picks a good picture for that. It picked up on the 4Ds and kind of wrote this. I had to work on the wording for this just a little bit, but it did a great job of putting that in there. It put in some testimonials. I actually switched some of these out to make them a little bit more relevant because I was going to use some testimonials in other places. So I had to do a little bit of work there, but not a whole lot. And then it took this picture and it had this kind of idea for writing about us, just kind of briefly. And then, of course, you can click out to the About Us page from there. But, it picked up on some of the things that I've written in blogs and some of the things I've put on the website and says, hey, we're more than just theorists. We like to put pen to paper. We like to strategize. We like to dive into the details and help you figure out your business and what's next. Knowing all of that, it actually says this would be a good picture to use in this section, which is crazy. It's looking at the picture and understanding what's in the picture and then putting it into the context of that section. So that's what it built for the home page. Now, I'm gonna give you a live demonstration here. I hope this works. We'll see. We'll see how it works here in just a moment. So that's the home page. Over here on the left, you can see that I'm ready to start the next page, and this is going to be the 5 voices page that's going to show up on our website. All right, so if you look at the workspace here, I'm going to take and tell it, let's work on the 5 voices page now. Here is the markdown file with instructions and copy and the photos you need. Okay, so now that I've done that, let's go get the markdown file for 5 voices. So if we go up here to 5 voices and find the markdown file, I'm just going to take and drag that into there. And then I have some 5 pictures that I want it to use. And so I'm going to drop that one in there. I'm going to drop that one in there. I'm going to drop this one in there and that one in there. I think there was 1 or 2 more that I need. So let me find those. I think those were some 5 voices photos. So I'm going to drag that one in there. So you just see, I'm just dragging photos in there, giving it the instructions. And when I say go, it's going to start creating a web page for me here in just a moment. And I also need, I think I told it I want to use the 5 voices graphics for the tool itself. Yeah, I think that's good enough for now. Let's go back to Replit. All right, so now we're back to Replit. If I'm missing any, it'll say, hey, I'm missing a file or I'm missing a photo or something. It'll tell me. All right, so I put that instructions in here and just watch this go to work. All right, so I'm going to click the button to go and it will start working. You'll notice there's going to give you kind of it's going to kind of show you some progress as it's going, what it's thinking, what it's planning to do. Of course, it already has all my brand guidelines because I put those in there, which fonts to use and what colors, and it's just going to keep that in memory, and it's going to keep building each page according to all the guidelines that I've already given it for this kind of refresh of what I want the website to look like. Okay, so you notice it's actually working. It's working through the instructions first, and then once it works through all the instructions, it understands all the text. It's actually going to build the page, put the blocks and the sections on the page. And then after it puts all of those in place, then it's actually going to start pulling in the pictures. It's going to start cropping them, sizing them to fit into all those places. I don't have to do any of that. I don't do any of the cropping. I don't do any of the placement. I just give it all the information. It knows what my site's supposed to look like because I've kind of already settled on this look and feel and these colors. And so it's going to take all of that information and it's going to start it's just going to build the page for me. There's even a link in there to the assessment. It's in the markdown file so that people can go out and take the 5 voices assessment. It's going to go do that too. It's just going to look at all the instructions in there and it's just going to build the page for me. Now, putting this on my server and having it hosted and all the technical stuff that's kind of the next step I won't cover in this video. But this is just really showing you kind of a workflow of how you can start with an idea inside of an AI chat. And you can use whatever chat program that you have access to, ChatGPT or Claude or Grok or Gemini, whatever one it is. And you go in there and just start having it create the copy for you and the instructions for the web page. And then you can take those instructions and then put it into a tool like Replit. There's also others, Lovable and Cursor and Bolt, and there's a bunch of them out there now. I like Replit because it's robust and it does a lot of other things besides web pages, but this is just to kind of show you. All right, so while I've been talking, look what it did. It successfully built out the 5 Voices for Teams page, all the sections. It tells me where it puts the route to the page, the hero section, the 5 Voices explain section, what changes, testimonials, convert. It already built all of that. And then it restarted it and refreshed it so that I now have that in place. So it worked for 2 minutes, and behind the scenes, you can see it cost me 51 cents in tokens. So I have like an account with tokens in it, and it took 51 cents to build this entire page. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to click down into people development. This is the way somebody would experience our website. So they click into people development, they get to this page here. And if they want to learn more about the 5 voices, let's see if this works. I haven't tested this. I'm doing this live right now. So if I click on the 5 voices button, hey, there's the page. It's got a navigation at the very top. It shows the 5 voices here. Which voice do you lead with? Which voices are on your team? That's a question, a couple of questions that people probably have. It shows the 5 Voices graphic there, which we share with everybody for free anyway. Notice it has the 5 Voices assessment link at the very top, so it's kind of always in the navigation bar. I actually kind of like that. Here it describes this. Ooh, got a little bit of overlap here on text. We'll have to get it to fix that. Nurture, Creative, Guardian, Connector, Pioneer. And it just pulls this from other documentation. When your team speaks the same language, everything else gets easier. Hey, look at there. It put Mike's picture as kind of the background for this section. These are the benefits that we constantly tout for 5 Voices. The aha moment is real. It happens in the room. Oh, okay. Here's our testimonials. Oh, looks like it dropped a block off of there, so we have to fix that. It put all my testimonials in here. That's great. Next section. Find out which voice you lead with. Takes about 15 minutes. Take the free assessment. Assessment is the starting line. The workshop's where it changes. I like that. Because a lot of people think, oh, I took the assessment, I know all about it. It actually figured out that the workshop is where people really get the transformation, and that's, of course, what we sell, because we want to see teams transformed. So yeah, it took one of the pictures I gave it and said the assessment is valuable, but the real impact is when your team goes through 5 Voices together. That's true. That's very true. It figured that out. From 3-person design studios to 75-person construction companies. Yep, we've done that. So schedule a call or go back to people development. Yeah, so I mean, that's pretty good. You can see there's a little alignment thing, and there's a block here that got left off of Dana's testimonial. Yeah, let me show you how to do that. So this one right here, there's got some overlap. So what I do here is I just click this little button and I select which part of this doesn't look right and say it looks like the text has some overlay to it and it can't be read. Can you fix? All right, so I'm just going to give it a quick instruction to fix this one here in the middle, the Guardian. That's a lot of text, and there's some sort of overlap that's happening there. I'm not really sure why. I've noticed also sometimes when I'm working on a page, if it finds that problem other places on the page, it'll just go ahead and fix all of them. But I'm going to just see if it'll fix just this one for the Guardian voice right here, okay? So it's working now. It'll diagnose the problem. Oh, look at there. Ha, look at that. It actually did it. It actually did it. It saw that it had a problem here. It went ahead and checked all of them. Look at that. It went ahead and checked all of them, and it fixed Connector and Pioneer also because they were overlapped. If you see that a little bit before, if you missed it, you can back up the video and watch it again. That was crazy. So yeah, and it's going to restart the application, which because I'm building a web page, it's going to take me back to the home page and then have to come back in and navigate again. But yeah, I mean, that's how easy it is. And when you want to fix something, you just go into the chat. If you can select the thing that you want to have it to work on, that just helps it kind of narrow down its focus. And then you just chat with it, and it will go from there, and it will start to make the changes. That's first shot. That's first shot at this, and it did a really good job of kind of building this whole page in 2 minutes while I was on the video here. So yeah, so that's what's happening. I mean, that's how easy it is to use these tools. You understand how to use the tools, start to build the workflow, and say, okay, I'm going to start here. I get this content, I move it over here. And then when you drop it into the right tool with all that context, with all of your instructions, with the goals that you give it, and that's key to all these tools and platforms. Once I give it all that information and I have the right tool, I mean, boom, you can see that's pretty quick to build an entire web page, and it got it all right except for maybe just a couple little details that I could fix pretty quickly just in a chat. So anyway, I hope you just enjoyed this really quick demo just to give you an idea of the tools that are out there, what I'm using, what I'm doing. I mean, this is the way I work now. I use various tools for various things, and it just speeds up the time, saves me money, and it's giving me really good results that I can use in lots of different places. So hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you have any comments, leave those down below. You can like or subscribe, and also just stay tuned for new updates. I'll be putting those out every so often as I'm using new tools, as we're helping clients learn new workflows and new ways of working. It's a pretty exciting time to be working in these kinds of tools, and hope you've enjoyed it. If you'd like to learn more, just leave me a message or reach out to me. I'd love to help you in your journey of learning AI and implementing it in your business.